So the Chaputier winery is a winery which was created in 1808, and my family bought it from the Calvé family in the 19th century. You know, Calvé family from Bordeaux. Originally, they are from Tel-Hermitage. Because in the 19th century, a big part of the wine of Hermitage used to be bought by first and second growth of Bordeaux as, we call that medical wine, vin médecin, that was permitting them to have a better potential of aging. Because Hermitage was not only the wine which was the most expensive in France in the 19th century, but in the same time it was the wine which had the biggest ability to be aged. A white Hermitage or a red Hermitage used to be able to be aged 100 years. So my family took this winery in the 19th century, and because it is one of the oldest winery, they had the great luck to become owner of the heart of each appellation. And so then I arrived in 1990, and this time the winery was, I would say, tired or in difficulty, and I was 25 years old, and when the winery was owned by my grandfather. So full of the difficulty, I proposed to my grandfather to buy the winery. I didn't want to receive it because I didn't want to pay heritage taxes on my work. And for that, I said I don't want to receive that as an heritage, but I want to buy it now because it is in bad shape. It was very close of the bankruptcy in 1990. And I arrived with my new idea on what should be a winery, what should be a wine of AOC.
So after you actually take over?
So when I bought the winery in 1990, I arrived with a philosophy which was the wine of AOC, appellation d'origine contrôlée. An AOC is a vineyard on a specific place with specific rules. It is called vin de terroir. If you permit me, I will make you the definition of the terroir. Terroir is not only the soil, but is the soils. I say soils in plural because there is the pedological soil on the top and the geological soil under. It is also climates, because you have the microclimate of the place, but also the vintage, that's been the climate of the year. So the two climates are playing in the terroir. And humans, because there is the tradition and the know-how, the know-how and the talent of the actors in the vineyards and the winery. So these 6 things are doing what we call the terroir. That means if we change soil, we should have a different taste. And you know what is interesting? The grape varietal is not, I will not say it's not important, it is just secondary. Okay. And the idea, when you taste our wines from the north of the Rhone Valley, which are 100% Syrah, or in red, or 100% Marsanne in white, or when you taste them which can be 100% Grenache in the south, the idea is to compare from the same vintage, the same vine grower, the same winemaker, the same grape, what could be the difference between this wine and another wine which can be sometimes only 500 meters away.
Yes.
That is the notion of terroir. And the philosophy of my winemaking is at first to be faithful of this. I don't want a taste of a Chaputier taste. I don't want people, when they taste my wine, say, oh, that's Chaputier style. I don't want a style. The signature of the wine has to be shy and discreet. So it's like when you buy a painting, the signature is in the corner, discreet. It's not on all the painting. And for this, I'm very against the The winemakers where you recognize their style immediately because it's dominant. Another part of the philosophy of my vineyard and winemaking is that I am a food lover. My obsession is that the wine is done to be married with food. What is a bad marriage? What is a good marriage? A bad marriage is when you have a dominant person with a subordinated person. That's a bad marriage. I always try to explain that to my wife. A good marriage is when you have two people who are complementary. Winemakers should always keep in mind that the wine is not done to cover the food, but to marry the food. That means we should oblige winemakers to take some cooking courses in university to keep in mind that the wine is done to be married with food. All the winemakers that I know who are good chefs are always good winemakers. But I know there is some winemakers who are considered as good winemakers, but they know nothing about food. And usually I don't like their wines because their wines are too heavy to concentrate. I don't like the race of concentration and heaviness in the wine because these are never able to respect the food. Okay. You base a marriage on the respect, not on the power. And that is always, when you taste my wines, you will remark few things. First point, the nose is quite discreet because for me the marriage is not done in the nose but in the taste. And I like to have a crescendo between the nose, a bigger taste, and a very long aftertaste. Secondly, I want to have not only aromas but also flavors and textures. When you taste my white wines, you will find some salty taste because they are coming from low yield. When you taste our red wines, you will never have the vegetal taste, but you will find sometimes the minerality. You know, when we are on granite, I want to extract the signature of the granite, which is what? The summer rain on the stone, you know, the smell. When during the hot summer day, the rain is starting, you have from the hot stone the smell arriving. We call that an ozone smell. And that is what I want to extract. The granite gives this aromatic signature.